It was not the plan to do the thrusters like that.
I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
Just got to Diablo CrossFit and we are doing the class workout today. I have to get in there, but I figured I'd tell you what it is to start with. It is Jackie. So we are retesting a workout I've actually done on this channel before, and I've done a couple of times before. But I have like a different approach to it this time, mentally. Not necessarily in how I'm gonna actually execute the workout, and I will explain that as we watch me row 1,000 meters. Benchmark workout Jackie is underway, and I feel like the gym I'm back at again, Diablo CrossFit, programs this fairly often. I would say about once a year, usually in the weeks after the open, to sort of check in with where you are. And I've not been going to Diablo for the last year. I just joined back a little less than a month ago. So for me, I'm looking at all of these as new baselines. I've been CrossFitting for 11 years almost. That's a long time. And over that time, things aren't going to be linear. You're not always going to improve. So the last time I did Jackie, I believe, was 2023, while I was still at Diablo, and my best score, I think, was in 2021. So I'm not necessarily trying to beat those scores with this workout today. What I was trying to do was find where my new baseline is, where I'm going to try to grow from here. So getting back into training at Diablo, trying to see where I am, that's what I was looking for, not necessarily to beat my previous self in this case. And I think sometimes if you have life changes, if you had an injury that you're overcoming, if you took time off, all of that stuff, it can be helpful to set new baselines as opposed to trying to chase old PRs right away, because you just might not be there yet. And sometimes you need intermittent things to hit. And also, we're all going to age as we continue to CrossFit.
CrossFit doesn't have an end, and it doesn't need to have an end. Like, yeah, the evolution of it, we're gonna see me get older and not be able to do things like I did. And there are things now that I can't do or currently unable to do from past years, and it's okay.
Right? So if you start CrossFitting at 20 and you CrossFit until you're 80, at 80, you're not going to be faster than you were at whatever your height was. So sometimes you have to look at new baselines for new periods of your life as you age. So sometimes it's helpful just to set new ones. So I was here looking to set a new baseline. Although going into this row, I was not feeling super psyched. I feel like sometimes you go into a workout and you're like, oh my God, I'm ready to kill this. I feel so good today. I'm going to crush it. And that is not how I felt. I felt a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish. It had been a couple days since my last rest day, and I was a little bit sore from a workout that had a lot of assault bikes and deadlifts in it. So I'm just like, ugh, not feeling my best on this row. But I think sometimes in those moments, it's important just to stay in it. Be like, hey, you're going to keep moving, and as you keep moving, things are going to feel better. At the end of the workout, when you're finished, you're almost always glad you did it and you showed up for yourself. So do it, show up for yourself, and just push through. Because sometimes these beginning moments, especially on a monostructural movement like this, can feel a little bit daunting. But as you get going, as you keep going, it'll feel a little better. Almost always. I promise. So this workout, if you haven't looked at it on your screen, Jackie for time, 1,000 meter row, same for women and men. 50 thrusters, 45 pounds for the men, 35 pounds for the women. That's just the empty bar. And then 30 pull-ups, one time through. That's it. It's basically a chipper, but a short chipper and a fast chipper. And the majority of that chipper is right here on this row. So if you're a great rower, I think this is a great workout for those people, because that is where you're spending the majority of your time. So if you can row 30 seconds faster than someone else who you usually compete with at your gym, that'll make a big difference. And here's the thing about Diablo and about gyms in general. I think you need to find a gym that's going to push you in the right way. Not everyone at Diablo is better at CrossFit, whatever that means, right? Like, I think CrossFit is what you make of it. But if you like to look at it from a competitive perspective, not everyone is better than me. But I feel like the mentality of everyone there is like, I want to do my best. I want to be my best. And that is infectious. And I don't think that exists everywhere. So I always advise people, because I've moved a lot, and some people who have moved have asked me for my advice in like getting comfortable in a new place or finding their new gym. And I always say, try a bunch of them to see what's the correct vibe for you. And the reason I went back to Diablo as opposed to looking for another gym closer to where I live now is because I knew the vibe was great here. So starting out with my thrusters here, 50 thrusters at the empty bar. I remember here being like, okay, just keep moving, and thinking you get to 10, you're 1/5 of the way. Sometimes having those little marks that you want to hit in between helps, but also just trying to keep moving. And that was really my focus on this thruster. Keep moving and hitting numbers. And as I hit certain numbers, I'm like, okay, you got to 10, now get to 20. Oh, if you get to 25, you're halfway through. So you get to 25 before you put it down. And then I was thinking that, and then all of a sudden I'm at 30. And then I'm like, ooh, maybe you get to 35, so you only have 15 left when you put it down. And that just kept happening until I kind of accidentally do all 50 of these unbroken. Not my plan going in at all. I feel like I just kind of blacked out a little bit. I just kind of kept moving, and I don't move these particularly fast. There's a lot of time I could make up on this workout. You can definitely be pulling this bar down faster to your chest. But like I said, I was feeling a little bit sluggish, and I'm like, I just want to keep moving. So that was my focus. Just keep moving, even if it's a little bit slower than would be ideal. And for me, thrusters are not my favorite. And I've said that a million times on this channel. So just doing them unbroken, I mean, I'm a little proud of that. I'll say that. I'm proud of myself for going unbroken on these thrusters and just staying in it, right? Like just, even if I was feeling a little sluggish, just kept moving and didn't let that mentality bother me. Just kind of pushed it to the side and was like, you're here, you get to do this, which is also something I've said a million times. You get to do this. It's my favorite mantra during workouts. You get to. And that's always a privilege I like to remember. So wrapping up this set of 50, and like in this moment, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself. Take a second, chalk up my hands. I'm like, I'm doing pretty good on time. But I will say, my pull-ups are not in the best place they've ever been. My thrusters there may have been the best they've ever been on this workout, if I'm being objective. But I've been better at pull-ups. I've been better at butterflying my pull-ups. And I think also the thrusters going unbroken, I was feeling my arms quite a bit. My arms felt like noodles, which I don't think helped when my pull-ups are already not quite as good as they've been in the past. So my little noodle arms could not hold on for huge sets in these pull-ups, and I just switched back to kipping. And this is why kipping comes before butterfly. Kipping is easier to fall back on than butterfly. So if you've been doing CrossFit for a long time and you've sort of lost your kip because you're so good at butterfly, always helpful to have that tool in your back pocket. And if you're still learning pull-ups, get your strict one first, then get this kip, because this kip also translates to bar muscle-ups. And then work on your butterfly, which are just faster and a more efficient way to get things done. Gets your heart rate up more too, but does not necessarily translate as much and is harder to fall back on. Almost done with these. Finishing up 7:52-ish, 7:53. So my best time ever, like I said, was in 2021, and that was 7:34. So honestly, 18 seconds, that's not bad. This was closer than I thought it was going to be, and I was pretty proud of how it ended up, and felt it a little bit at the end there. Was not feeling it on the row, and that might be some good feedback to give myself, that maybe on the row, if I do this again in a year, I should probably make a note of this, or make a note of it right here in this video. Push a tiny bit harder on the row and work on your pull-ups over the next year. That's my advice to myself. Let me know if you've done Jackie before and what you think of this workout in the comments below. It was not the plan to do the thrusters like that. Ow, my arms hurt. They look swole? Not really, I can't even flex them, they hurt. Back home, took an ice bath. That was fun. I guess. We have an ice bath at the gym. It is a super nice perk. But setting some new baselines. I mentioned this, but I think when you've been CrossFitting like me for 11 years next month, things change, right? Like you're not going to always improve. Not everything is linear. So sometimes when you're getting back into training, it's beneficial to set new baselines as opposed to trying to chase the old ones and feeling like maybe you're not successful. Oh, look over here. Look, hi. He just hopped up to say hi. Do you want to go on a walk, Carson? Oh, yeah, he wants to go on a walk. He just jumped. Come back up here. Come back up here. Say hi again. He jumped off because he wants to go on a walk. So we're going to wrap this up, but I do advise sometimes setting new baselines if you're in a different phase of life, if you took some time off. There's lots of reasons to sometimes set new baselines and refresh, and can be a lot of fun. So we're doing that right now. Anyway, appreciate you all for watching. Subscribe, Carson, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.